Peace, 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 and welcome to another episode of the Grown Man Shift Podcast. I'm your host, Baith Noureddin, and we have a sponsor. We finally have a sponsor, guys, and it is sponsored by Ironside Coffee here in the city of Newark at 110 Edison Place. This week and for the month of July, they will be doing a live jazz vibe every Wednesday from 4 to 6. It's called Evening Brew. Please tap in. Definitely tell them that the Grown Man Shift Podcast sent you. I'm not going to say there may be a discount with that, but I'm pretty sure my guy Greg over there take care of you if you tell him that I sent you. Once again, that is Ironside Coffee at 110 Edison Place here in the city of Newark. Every Wednesday for the next 3 weeks, 4 weeks, probably some Thursdays, there's going to be something called the Evening Brew. Nice little jazz compilation of local artists and artists from abroad that will be bringing you vibes and tunes and all of that for you to chill and enjoy. So I want to appreciate our sponsor for sponsoring this episode, and let's get to it. So I also have a guest. Today is like Christmas, just in July, right? Today I have a guest, somebody who I've had the pleasure of watching from afar, and close. It's not to say that me and him have grown up together, but we have been growing in relationship over the past few years. I will let him check off all the boxes of who he is and what he do and what he brings to the table and all that good stuff. But hey, man, a good brother of mine is a good brother of yours. And without further ado, I'd like to introduce my guy, the Composer Rell. What's going on, brother?
Appreciate you, brother. How you doing today?
I'm good, man. Thank you for pulling up, man.
Thank you for having me, man.
Yeah.
This is an honor, you know. This is an honor for real.
Yeah.
I'm the Composer Rell. I am a man of God. I am a father. I am a husband. I am an author. I am a music composer. I am a clothing designer. And I'm sure there's going to be so many other things that God allowed me to do, but those are the things that God has me focused on right now. Some of those things is forever, like being a husband, like being a father. So those things don't come and go, especially for me. Can't speak for other fellas, but I can only speak for me.
And those two roles are probably some of the most significant roles that any man can have. Mm-hmm. Being a father, provider, being a husband, protector. Those things, I think the class of appreciating it and leaning into it is what's up, especially for black men. Mm-hmm. I think the narrative has gone on too long that we are uninvolved fathers and we have no interest in becoming husbands. And as a husband, as a father we've had plenty of conversations, I think it's time for the narrative to have a new face.
Yes.
I think the narrative can be debunked because we are always active and present in our marriages and in our parenting. So I appreciate you for being here. I appreciate you for sharing your energy with the platform.
Thank you. Thank you.
First question that I usually ask is, when you hear the phrase grown man shift, what's the first thing that comes to your mind?
First thing I think of the group, they from Philly, right? Boys to Men.
Yeah.
I think of them. But just shifting your mindset from just doing things that you learned to do while you were in your adolescent years. To being able to move to learning how to do it from a grown man's point of view.
Yeah.
That's the first thing that come to mind.
Nice.
Yeah. How about you?
I mean, for me, similar. Being in a place where immaturity is the through line. And then the shift to maturity, now maturity becomes the through line. What I think, what I eat, how I feel, how I express how I feel, how I move throughout the world is no longer the lower version or the lesser version. Now this is like big boy shit.
Right,
It's like
right.
now I got on my big boy pants, got on my big boy drawers,
Yep.
and I'm out here doing what I need to do in the name of maturity and growth and all of those things. So when the idea to do this came, it was based on my own journey. It wasn't based on, it's twofold. It's based on my journey, but it's based on the journey that I'm seeing with the guys that are in my circle, the conversations that we be having behind closed doors or when the cameras is cut off and all of that.
Right.
It's about the realness of what the growth process looks like. And I think that a lot of men are in that space where we want more, but we don't want more based off of what it looks like. We want more based off of the impact that we're really having.
Wow.
It's not based on, it's no longer based on how I feel about it more than what does this feeling that I have is calling me to do.
Wow.
It's calling me to reach. It's calling me to expand. It's calling me to elevate. And because it's calling me to kind of mind, body, soul, everything is in checks and balances.
Right.
I think that it's important that the flag gets planted that, no, we growing over here. And you see it more in the narrative. Look at Brick City Buddha. You know what I mean? Shout to the homie.
Sir. Yes, sir. What's up, docs?
You know what I'm saying? And hearing a lot of conversations that he's in at a high level, those conversations he's having at a high level,
Right.
we're having not as much of a high level in terms of platform,
Right.
but we're having a high level as far as consciousness, as far as like the way that we're packaging it in our emotional field and our heart space, how we're able to lead with heart as opposed to what you gonna do for me.
Ooh.
You know what I'm saying?
Ooh.
Like, now I'm about to come up off a homie. Nah, we about to come up together.
Right,
Because
right.
one hand wash the other, both hands wash the face.
Absolutely.
And I feel like that is when these conversations are no longer in a vacuum. They're palpable. Like, people can feel it.
Right.
People can feel it because who you connected to
Yep.
is a bunch of kings who's connected to a bunch of kings who's connected to what the throne really means. It's not
Right.
just an object. It's not just a destination, but it's like
It's a way of life.
it's a way of life. You know what I mean? So for me, grown man shift is just that, shifting, changing with the surety that I may not know exactly where I'll end up,
Right.
but I know for a fact that if I'm putting everything that I can that is good and moral and wholesome and growth oriented, that eventually I'll get to a place where I'm no longer dealing with childish things.
Right.
You
Right.
know what I mean?
And I think this stuff is like really needed because, like I was telling my boy Q, I'm a part of a group called Purpose Pushers. And, you know, the main goal of us, our main objective is to be able to use the gifts that God has given us and to share the purpose that he put on the inside of us with whom he had for us to come across the path with. You know, so with us being purpose pushers, like, we have to be in a space where we're able to create these different atmospheres for us brothers, because we don't necessarily have them in the sense of like our sisters do. You know, like when it comes to our sisters, they have a camaraderie that we have the potential to have, but we just don't have at the moment. You know, like thinking of them preparing meals. Like, say for instance, their moms is not in their lives for whatever reason. They still possibly have a grandmother. They have some aunts. They have some female cousins. There's a female elder within the community. We as men, we don't necessarily always have that because our fellas, for unfortunate reasons, are dead. They in jail. They may be down the path, going down a life path that we're not really into. You know, so our options appear to be, you know, scarce. You know, but with us brothers like yourself, building platforms like this, like how we talk about Docs, the platform that he has built, and, you know, the level that he has reached now because of the work that he put in for years. You know, it's like those spaces, you know, we need those multiplied because not everybody is at the space that Docs is at,
True,
you know.
true.
So it's like if we have things all up and down the ladder that can meet people's needs where they are, you know, we'll start seeing the narrative change
Yeah.
on a grand scale.
I hear you. I like what you said, meeting people at the level that they are, because it's significant. It's like everybody's not, how they say, wine taste and beer money. Some people
Wine
just have
taste and
beer
beer
money.
money.
You know what I'm saying?
Ooh.
Some people just have beer money. Some people don't even think about wine. It's not even conceivable that I could do that too.
Right.
So you need to have the duality. You need to have the people that are fine diners in the
Yep.
space of like emotional growth and things like that.
Yep.
But you also need the people that go to the dirty hood spot.
Yep.
They make a good chopped cheese,
Yo.
and you meeting them where they at. You know what I'm saying?
It's a different feeling. I feel like it shows your humanity,
Yeah.
you know, or your humane side. I think of like just big companies, thinking of like Mercedes, doing like research and just seeing the great things that come from out of that company.
Yeah.
You think of like the S-Class or the Maybach or something. Like those are the higher end, you know, models on that luxury line.
Yeah.
But, you know, one may think that, oh, it's the S-Class and it's the Maybach, you know, whether it's the Maybach car or Maybach truck that's bringing in the revenue. But it's usually those lower, you know, class or those lower model cars
Yeah.
that actually bring in that day-to-day revenue, you know,
100%.
to afford them the ability to create those S-Classes and Maybachs.
100%.
So, like, you know, we need every part, you know, like
Yeah.
thinking of like just being like a man of God, thinking of like the body of Christ, like, or even our bodies, you know, we have many different parts, but those many parts are very essential to the whole makeup of the body.
Facts.
Because I guarantee you stub your toe, your whole body is now zoomed in on that toe. You not thinking of, that's not my responsibility,
Yeah.
or the finger, I didn't get stubbed or something like
Yeah.
that, but the whole mind zooms in on that pinky toe, even though that's like a small point of our body.
Yeah.
It's the same thing with us as fellas, you know, we need all hands on deck, basically.
Facts.
All hands on deck.
Facts. Question: how important is compassion and empathy in the process of including all the parts?
I say very important because we're going to have brothers that's at different levels. And in order to be able to bring that together, some type of camaraderie and us being on like one accord,
Yeah.
it's going to take some compassion, you know, in order to be able to meet the brothers where they are, you know, and to meet us where we are. Because just because we've experienced some stuff doesn't mean that some brothers that haven't experienced what we experience is not able to teach us too, you know. So we gotta have not only compassion for the other brothers that we're like coming across paths with, as well as ourselves, because there's some things that's on the path that we may have thought that we were stronger in when we wasn't as strong as we thought, and we gonna need to have compassion and empathy with ourselves in order to be able to level up, you know, as well as know that it could be somebody that's younger than you that could teach you some game that you ain't had before, or teach you or elevate your game in a way that you didn't have before. So
Facts.
I think it's very important.
Facts.
You?
I agree because what I've been noticing, or what I've noticed throughout my life, especially turning 45 a few weeks ago, not to
That's
say
big.
like I'm old.
Happy belated birthday.
Thank you, sir. Thank you. I don't believe I'm old at all. I don't even believe 80 or 90 is old. I think old is just a state of mind. I don't think it's an age.
Yep.
But I've been noticing that a lot of people on the journey who used to seem to have amnesia that they used to. They have amnesia that they weren't always in a position that they were in. And I feel like the people who operate from that place are incapable of compassion. They're incapable of empathy in that state of mind. Not to say that it's done and it can never happen,
Right.
but just saying having that place of compassion it always keep you grounded. It keeps your feet on the ground and not floating above everybody like you better than everybody. And I
Right.
think that the compassion and the empathy along the journey for people who are not, you may not be where I'm at. You may not be where I'm at mentally or spiritually or financially or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
As long as I know you are adjacent to the path, that's all that really matters to me. Because at one point, I was a knucklehead. At one point, I wasn't thinking clear. At one point, I wasn't putting all of the good things that I needed to put into my walk and my journey in it.
Right.
I was just like, whatever. And I feel like because I've gone through the process of maturation,
Mm-hmm.
it gives me a viewpoint of like, I see the guy that may not have a home, pulls up on the car and says, "Excuse me, brother, I don't mean to bother you, but if I was on some, man, get out of here. I don't. Who's to say what
Wow.
the interaction I have with that man will do?
Right.
Who's
Right.
to say?
Mhm.
That interaction that I have with that guy, it may be the only source of somebody sees me
Mm.
throughout his entire day
Right.
or months or year. I remember growing up in my church, and my pastor used to say, speak to people that you make eye contact with,
Mm.
because you never know what that person is going through. He said you could be, by you acknowledging that person, you may have stopped that person from committing suicide
Right.
because you acknowledged them,
Mm-hmm.
because you saw them where you saw them. So for me, I feel like that ability to see each other,
Mm-hmm.
even though we may not be occupying the same space in terms of like apples to apples, but we're occupying the same space and time. We on the bus together, we on the elevator together. We just so happen to be waiting in the line for something together, for some food, or we at the supermarket or whatever.
Right.
We're in the same space in that moment.
Mm-hmm.
And if the lane is open, compassion and empathy all day.
What makes
know what I
you
mean?
like what? Well, not what makes you, but why do you feel as though some like fellas lack that compassion?
I would say because a lot of pressure guys go through. A lot of
Wow.
guys, we do live an unseen life.
Mm.
Not to say that everybody does at every point, but there are stages in our maturation when we're alone,
Right.
where that space of being alone can do something to you if you're not strong or if you don't have something to put the energy into.
Right.
So it's like, who am I to not acknowledge that? I'm not better than anybody.
Right.
I may have more opportunities, or I may have more access, or I may have a different financial makeup, or a different spiritual awareness, but none of that means I can turn the channel off to everybody else. I just can't do it.
Right.
And I've been like that
Wow.
for a long time. Like even before going to church,
Mm-hmm.
like at 12. Before that, we were practicing Islam. Before that, in between that, there was some Buddhism in there. So there were a lot of spiritual teachings that I had a chance to be in a room with.
Right. Right.
And being in a room with it, I just noticed every time there's always a vast makeup of people. When you go to church, everybody not coming from the same place.
Yep.
And everybody may not be going to the same place.
Got that right.
You know what I'm saying?
Got that
So
right.
to me, there's like, it's like a duty. It's a duty to make sure that wherever I'm at, whoever's around me is good.
Mm.
And if that means that you are the guy because you're asking me to help you out with something to eat, I buy food. I don't really like to give out money like that.
Right.
Just because if you're really hungry, I don't even want you to be tempted to go do something that's going,
Right.
now you can't eat.
Right.
You know what I mean? Because my dad was out there. So I think a big part of that is from him too, because he's a person. even though he on drugs and he out here doing whatever he doing,
Mm-hmm.
he's still a person at the end of the day, and I can't disregard people because of their plight or position in life. You know
Right.
what I mean?
Right. Because we may be in a position like that before, at one point in time,
100%.
and like how you said, like your pops was out there. So it's like you able to tap into, dang, this is somebody that's close to me. Yeah, you may not be blood related to me, but
Yeah.
you're another human being, and like, talking
Mhm.
about physical wise, like
Mhm.
you are close to me right now, and I see
Yeah.
how you feel, so I gotta tap in, I gotta help you out, because I just never know.
Facts.
I just never know.
Um how did you get into, or how did you start to practice Christianity, and did you notice a certain level of um emotional, spiritual growth as a result of becoming or practicing Christianity? Was it something that was always there, and Christianity just satisfied that yearning for something? Like, how did you get to the journey of Christianity, and how has Christianity changed the way you approach life in general?
So I grew up. I want to say grew up going to church.
Okay.
With my grandparents. But I don't know. I noticed, with me looking back, I noticed that like there's something that's like a disconnect, so to speak. So I grew up going to church. I grew up going to like vacation Bible school in the summers. Taught little different things or what have you, but it didn't really stick until, I want to say, January 2012, but I really started to take it serious in November 2011. So like so like I said, I grew up in the church, but there wasn't any like sit down, we about to have Bible study time take place where I could have, well, I could go from religion to relationship. A lot of people, they talk about the Christian walk and they just automatically think that it's a religion.
Yeah.
Where it's a relationship with Christ. That's what makes the difference.
100%.
So even though I grew up in the church, I didn't have the meat and potatoes. I didn't know Christ for myself. I didn't have a relationship with him. So when my one of my aunts, she invited me to Bible study one night. Now, going this one particular night, they was having this was the adult Bible study. Later down the line, my then pastor, he created like a young adult Bible study.
Okay.
But the adult Bible study, I didn't really catch on to like what was going on. Like I was just in the church building, because we are the church, but I was just in the church building. So with me just being in the church building, stuff was a little confusion for me. But I felt pulled to keep coming. And with me coming, pause. That's what led to me getting into college.
Yeah.
That's what led to me fasting for the first time for 40 days, doing the Daniel's fast, which led to me being a vegan, which led to me writing this book, which led to me with the clothes, which led to me coming out of my shell with being shy, which led to me with the music and everything. So I want to say I didn't grow up having that relationship with Christ, but later in life I did. So it has helped me tremendously, come out of my shell, tap in and understand what my spiritual gifts are. I know how to parallel scripture. I know how to pull one scripture out of the Bible and, find out where I want to say the connection in the Bible is, because it's a text. It's a textile. It's interwoven. So whatever is happening in the Old Testament, we should be able to find it in the New Testament, and vice versa. One scripture should lead to somewhere else, so through that Bible study, like that, it helped me to really gain a relationship with Christ, understand how important it is, and to continue to keep overcoming like all challenges that come my way. It's a lot of challenges that come with the different roles that we play as men. So it helped me to be an overcomer. But One of the most important things with me being shy, like I used to be extremely shy. So when it came to conversing or talking with people I didn't know, that was one of the things that I shied away from. So with me being a Christian, like those are the things that like really helped to empower me to be who the man that you all see today.
Yeah. And how much how much, because you say you're a teacher, author, father, husband, does Christianity guide those things? Do you practice, do you adhere to the role of parent, father, teacher, author? Is it Christianity first, and then through Christianity you put energy into these different things? Or do you already have a precedence that is set and you just use Christianity as like the to fill in the gaps?
That's a good question. I would say it's more of like the middle. It's more so of I'm learning to have Christianity guide me more. You know, I would say I am, but there's always room for growth. So I want to, you know, lean upon it like even more, because like, you know, God tell us like, you know, be transformed by the renewal of our mind.
Yeah.
And with this Christian walk is more of a marathon instead of a sprint.
Facts.
So we know with marathons is, you know, it's a longer distance, but you know, we still got to get to the finish line, but we have to pace ourselves. So with me learning to, you know, lean on God more, to learn how to pace myself, to learn how to be a better father, how to be a better husband, teacher, musician, and stuff like that. I use the biblical foundations to help me navigate through doing all of those, because God tell us that apart from him we could do nothing, you know. So I know how I was prior to Christ, I know how I am afterwards. And with me growing up in the church and me still going out into the world and me coming back, and I don't want to say on my own, because we can't come to the Father unless, you know, the Son, you know, he sends that word out through the Son. But I can see a total 180 prior to me in this relationship with God and afterwards.
Yeah.
So it guides me, but I'm still learning.
Yeah.
You know, I fall short of the glory every day.
100%. I mean, because nobody's perfect. You know what I mean? I think we're all imperfectly perfect. I think the whole purpose of this experience is through imperfection, finding our way through the imperfections that we have. I don't think that God is a cynical God to create all of these pitfalls and gotchas. And I think it's truly for the betterment of how we are serving ourselves and how we ultimately serve humanity at large. I feel like a lot of people have bastardized religious practices into their own, I'll just say, bad behavior, because they'll point out like, well, in the Bible it says something about slaves and obeying your masters, so we could use this and control people. We can use any part of the text to our benefit with the BS that we on.
Right.
And I think it's important that it doesn't lose, what you said doesn't get lost in translation. It's not about the religion, it is about the relationship. Because the more I'm connected to source, the harder it is for me to fall away from what that connection means. The connection means what it means to whoever.
Right.
I know for me, I don't practice organized religion anymore. I'm on my journey. My journey is outside of the voices of what my mom or my grandmother or my aunts and my uncles, whoever said that this is what it is. It's like, well, my dad with exception, because my dad was like, treat each religion, each practice like a house.
Mm-hmm.
You go to the house, you take what's nourishing, and you leave what's not.
Mm-hmm.
It's not for you to go in there and judge how the house is built.
Mm-hmm.
It's to take the nourishment away and let it enrich your life, let it enrich your path.
Wow.
So there's a lot of there's a lot to be said to be able to stand and hold that line in today's society.
Mm-hmm.
Does any of the spiritual practices that you do, have you ever found yourself imparting that on your students?
Definitely, because it's a way of life. You
Mhm.
know, with this relationship, is a way of life. So it's like I cannot not be me.
Yeah.
You know, like it's a part of me. Like it's like I think about like the times where I was switching from PC to Mac
Mm-hmm.
and I couldn't make any beats. Like that was like excruciating because like I've been around music literally since I've been in my mother's stomach. You
Yeah.
know, so to have this gift that I know that I have and I'm
Yeah.
able to make and I started and you know getting stronger.
Mm-hmm.
Now I don't have it. It's like, yo, this feels crazy.
Yeah.
So with that, I feel as though it's a part of who I am, you
Yeah.
know, and I don't like look to like push it on anybody because
Yeah.
like how you said with your pops, like so like growing up, like my one of my aunts is Muslim. So like growing up, I would have moments where I'll be with her and her husband. And of course, you know, they went to the mosque to go and pray, you know. So there'll be moments where when I'm with them, I go to the mosque too.
Yeah.
And I'm standing right by side and I'm praying with my uncle. Well, before we leave the crib or, you know, the many times that you gotta pray a day, if I'm spending the night over there, I'm on the carpet too, and I'm bumping my head right with him.
Yeah.
Now I'm younger, you know.
Yeah.
I'm probably like 9, 10 or something like
Yeah.
that. But I to go back to what you were saying, like what your pops was saying, is like chew the meat, throw away the bones.
Yeah.
It's like, you know, even though that's not the belief system that I'm under, like you said, I don't look to bash them and stuff like that, but me being a child of God is just a part of me, you know.
Yeah.
Like that's what I seen Jesus do. That's what I seen Yeshua do.
Yeah.
He, you know, didn't necessarily go like this. It was more so spending time with the folks
Yeah.
and allowing his character, you know, to speak for him.
Yeah.
You know, so like when it comes to like me, let's say with like the students or something. I remember years ago, my wife had a student who was going through something, and she wound up just sharing with them that, you know, I could possibly pray for him or something like that.
Yeah.
Or she told them that I pray a lot. The student winds up taking that upon themselves and asking me could I pray for him.
Oh.
So at the time, one of her homies was going out for the basketball team, and you know, he wanted to make it. She asked me if I could pray for him to make the basketball team. So, you know what I'm saying? It ain't no genie, but I'll definitely pray. You know what I'm saying? Like, so wound up, days go by. She wound up checking the list. He makes the team. So she coming up to me, you know, excited. Like, you know, he made the team. Thank you for the prayer. Da, 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 da. Well, then next thing you know, one of the other friends had asked me to pray.
Yeah.
So we at the lunch table, and like I'm like, oh snap, yo. In my head, it was like two things that went through. It was like, all right, we about to do this, but then back of my head, I'm like, yo, dang, they got cameras in the caf. You know, I know how it was like years ago where they talk about, you know, praying in the schools and stuff. So I'm like, yo. But then it's like, you know, part of me, I'm like, yo, this is me. I can't run from me. And they asked me. I didn't post this, you know, push this upon them. They asking me.
2:30
So,
meet up
you
in
know,
the
I
prayer
just
room.
said, hey, yo, let's grab hands. We at the lunch table. They all telling their friends, grab hands. You know how they be talking aggressive to each other. Grab hands.
Come on, man.
You know what I'm saying? Like, so we grab hands and, you know, we just bowed our heads and we praying.
Yeah.
In the middle of their lunch.
Yeah.
You know, but this is something that they asked, but I couldn't run away from it. So even now with my character, like people ask me like, yo, are you really this calm? Or like, you know, are you really this nice all the time?
Yeah.
And I'll just keep it funky with them. For the majority, I am. This
Yeah.
ain't like a facade or anything of that
Yeah.
nature. I do have moments while I'm down, while I get sad, while I'm frustrated, while I'm mad, just like any other human. But my pastor encouraged me years ago to always, one, protect my character, and two, to sharpen your gifts. So with the sharpening of the gifts came some different stages. One looked like, well, what are my gifts? You know what I'm saying? What's the functionality of the gifts?
Yeah.
How do I use these gifts? So it's constantly going to God through prayer, listening to the word, listening to different sermons, listening to interviews, having conversations. Because God is omnipresent. He's all everywhere at the same time. You know what I'm
100%.
saying? So, like how you said, what your pops was telling you, like I've learned to seek God in just about everything.
Yeah.
And what I mean by that is if we're having a conversation, I'm humble enough to know that God could speak through you.
Yeah.
If I'm having a conversation with one of my students, I'm humble enough to know that God could speak through one of these students.
Yeah.
If I'm watching a movie, I'm humble enough to know that God could speak through this movie. He could speak through this interview. He could speak through this song. So I started to keep my eyes open, along with that. So wrapping it up with who I am, and this is a lifestyle, it just comes out on the students because like how we said with Jesus, the way that my actions are, it looks different from the normal person that comes from where we come from.
Yeah.
Like when I first started, I was an aide. I was a paraprofessional. So I had this one particular student. He made it his business to try to get underneath my skin. And it wasn't working.
Yeah.
Now I was frustrated because, like he was a special ed student, of course. But like, it was challenging at times, but because my pastor, protect your character, sharpen your gifts, I started to go from like kind of like getting frustrated to like starting to dig, well, what is leading to this young man to one, have this diagnosis that they said that he has, and for him to carry himself in class the way that he, does. So through relationship building, asking questions, you start to get an understanding. So then the patience and stuff like that start to increase with the students and with the staff. See, it start to increase because we go back to my relationship with God, and me taking the meat, spitting away the bones, and it just comes out. So with him, with all of that right there, is like, wow, no, this is really you. Like this is how you are for the whole year. Like you don't change up. Like, well, nah, yo, what's up with this guy right here, yo? Like, so
like it's like you playing a character in a movie almost. Like, I'm the dude disguised as the dude playing another
that's
dude.
What they think.
Yeah.
That's what they think, because it's not in our communities like that where you see a male that looks like you know what I'm saying. At the time when I first started, I had waves, I don't think that I had the bigs. I was spinning. I don't think I had the big yet.
Yeah.
But if I did, it wasn't out. It was just, close to the face.
Like my joint.
Yeah, close to the face. So and then I did started growing afterwards. But that's what they saw. This is who you see is who I really am. Like they don't see the frustrating moments and stuff like that, of course, because I have to remain professional. But for the most part, like I am really that calm and stuff like that. It's just who I am. I can't run from it.
Do you feel like your spiritual base has given you the resolve? Did you already have the resolve before you had a spiritual, like the understanding of what you're doing spiritually? Or was it like, nah, I was wild, and then as I started to get my spiritual base, I calmed down? Or did it just introduce you from the pond of calm to the ocean of calm?
The latter.
Okay.
From the pond to the ocean.
Yeah.
And I talk about this in the book too. You know what I'm saying? Make sure y'all get.
Yeah, please plug it, man.
The gift for others. You know what I'm saying? You can find this at on Amazon.com, titled "The Gift for Others," under my government name, Darrell Johnson. Or you can hit me up on IG, The Composer Rell, TheComposer, Rell, Rell. you can send me a DM, and if you in the Newark or Jersey area, I could pull up on you with a signed copy. But
I gotta make sure I get my signed copy.
yes, sir. I made sure, that I talked about it in the book because we talking about shifting our mindsets.
Yeah.
There's a lot of SA or sexual abuse that take place within our communities, and it don't get talked about. It just gets
100%.
swept up under the rug, and what we see in today's man, it comes. Some of that stuff it stems from that. But me, when I was 5, I was molested. So from the stories that my mother shared with me prior to the molestation, I was like a happy-go-lucky child. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm from Newark, so like my grandparents, they had a big yard, and they lived around the corner from like a little shopping plaza. So this about me 3 years old, I get out of the gate and I'll end up around the corner in the shopping plaza, and people from the community would just bring me back because they knew my family. So like that's how I was prior to the molestation. After the molestation, that's when the shy stuff started to come about.
Yeah.
I became a little bit more reserved. I was always like curious prior to, like curious in a way of like, all right, we got all these cameras, or we got this computer, or we got this car, or this TV. What does this do?
Yeah.
Like that's where my brain was. Hence
Yeah.
me, getting out of the fence at 3 years old and ended up around the corner. So afterwards, it was like I became a little bit more reserved, came a little bit more like introverted in a sense. And that same curiosity was present. Like, man, like how does this boiler work? It's just afterwards I really didn't. It felt like I lost my mojo afterwards. Like when I think back and I look back, even me being like 3rd grade, just being like quiet in class and stuff, it felt like not me. So I feel as though it opened me up to the ocean, because now it's like I don't really have so many people to bounce ideas off. So it's like me looking around more and observing more and asking myself questions and stuff. And then once I got older, and that's why I love my relationship with Christ, as well as both of my pastors, my previous pastor and my present pastor, because both of those brothers helped me out like a lot, just growing and just understanding who God created me to be, and with that ocean, it allowed me to understand more of who I am as a man of God. I hope that answered that question.
Nah, that did, and it gave context. Because I don't talk about it often, just because I feel like it's a different context. But my first sexual encounter was from one of my older cousins. Like he's like a year or two older than me.
Right.
And it wasn't under the guise of like predatory. It was like I just learned about this. It's called sex, and I'm like, what's sex?
Right.
He like, yo, you want me to show you?
Right.
And my cousin performed, fellatio.
Right.
So for me, I never looked at it like I was violated, or it wasn't the same context. Like we're the same age, basically. You know what I mean? And it wasn't like I was like he penetrated or forced me to penetrate him. It was literally just that. Like, let me show you.
Right.
And ever since then, the context of what sexual assault, it was different. Even with older females. Like older females that were like, I mean, I like you. We should spend some time together.
Right.
I never put it in that box. But I also recognize that just because my experience is different doesn't mean that it doesn't call to question what I feel about it, or how I'm processing it, or how it has affected me in unknown like ways that I didn't know, so I don't know how it affected me.
Have you ever had moments or like a space to be able to have like open dialogue with it about it?
I have. Oddly enough, in my 30s.
Wow.
In my 30s, it was like I was having a conversation with somebody one day, and they were talking about a similar situation with them. It was like, oh, nah, man, when I was 12, my cousin, female cousin,
Mm-hmm.
who was like maybe a year or two older, was like, yo, let me show you something.
Right. Right.
And it wasn't until he contextualized it as like I was damn near raped.
Wow.
And I was like,
Wow. Mm. Mm.
it just never, it didn't hit. Like
Right.
it didn't hit. I was watching this show called Blind Spot.
Mm-hmm.
FBI, CIA, espionage type of show. Bunch of lies and secretive stuff, right?
Rendezvous.
One of the guys, right? One of the guys he's an FBI agent, black guy.
Mm-hmm.
He's investigating his coach from high school. It was high school or middle school, one of them. He's like a revered coach, but he was doing a lot of stuff to the boys that was under his care.
Wow.
He's helping some of the guys he was on a team with
Mm-hmm.
with them processing what this coach did to them.
Wow.
And
Wow.
unbeknownst to him, the coach did the same thing to him.
Wow.
But he
Wow.
blocked it out.
Right.
He's like, I remember the time frame,
Mhm.
but there's parts in that time frame that are gaps that I don't remember what happened.
Mm-hmm.
And how he got the remembrance. He was talking to one of his like homies he's battling addiction. He's like in and out of jail, off and on drugs, so forth and so on. And the homie was like, yo, you don't remember none of this?
Wow.
And he like, what you mean remember none of this? He was like, you was there.
Right. Right.
And he like, no, I wasn't there. He was like, bro, you was there. Like, I'm surprised you ain't messed up like the rest of us from what he did to us.
Wow.
And
Wow.
it was crazy watching this guy spiral
Mm-hmm.
out of control because he just couldn't fathom that something like that could happen to him.
So the one that's like started spiraling was the one that didn't remember.
Exactly.
Wow.
He's an
Wow.
FBI agent, so he's on a case thinking like, I'm helping my friends get justice,
Right.
only to find out that he's also getting justice for himself.
Mm.
You know what I mean? I say that to say, how has your view of manhood developed
Mm.
as a result of that? And what did you come to terms with in your journey of manhood that was like, you know what, this don't take away my manhood?
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm. I would say for one, like I always, like I kind of like make like lighthearted
Mhm.
jokes of the situation. Like for myself, it was oral as well, so
Yeah.
it wasn't like no penetration or
Yeah,
anything.
yeah.
So I just making little jokes like, God, thank you. You ain't allowed bro to take my man.
Ooh, yeah.
Thank you, God.
Yeah.
You know, so that's like the little joke that I,
Yeah.
make to lighten up the mood or whatnot. But for me at first, like just growing up, like I can't remember like growing up being like third grade and fourth grade, me thinking about the moment. But I remember when it happened, I remembered it. I remember, the events that took place afterwards, talking to like, my mom took me like to a therapist. I had to talk to like cops and different things in that nature. So
Yeah.
it was a lot of stuff that was going on. But growing up, like my pops was in jail too. So like thinking about like manhood and you got to do this to be a man or something like that. Like
Yeah.
those thoughts for the most part didn't really come across my mind growing up. Like it was no like I'm trying to walk around like a female or something
Yeah.
at that point or something like that. Like it was none of that. It was, more so of like it's family that's around and my pops isn't here and different pockets of or different family members have me in different spaces where I'm able to like, I don't know, focus on being a child. So giving an example, me being with my aunt and with my uncle, her husband, that was a part of sort of like manhood that I was able to receive from her husband. From just saying like, okay, this is the religion that you're practicing, and you're on it, so you're going to the Eid, you're praying, different things in that nature, But it wasn't no sit down conversation where I was conscious of like, oh, this is I don't know, like this is what girls do. These are what dudes do or something like. So I don't know, like I was just always outside and I was just always able to play. You know what I'm saying? Like my godmother, she grew up like running the parks. You know what I'm saying? Like working in the parks in the summer. So in the summer times, like where I learned how to swim at the age of like 8 or 9 or something, is because she was in rec, you know, and I was in the parks. Me and my god brother was in the parks with her. I learned how to swim badge and everything. Learned how to swim in the deep end. So it's like for the summers, I was, for me, like I feel like I was too engaged in being a child to even stop and think about any of that. You know what I'm saying? For the most part, like my childhood was live. Like it was live. Like being in the parks every summer or being outside. Grew up in Newark, you know, playing outside with the kids and stuff like that. Like that stuff didn't come to mind. It was too much playing that took place. We ain't had the phones just to sit back or whatever. Like I'm playing throw up with the fellas. We playing you know, we got the PlayStation and N64. It was too much stuff going on for me to think about like that. For the most part.
How do you impart some of the lessons that you've learned that are like, nah, this is something that I feel like my kids should know? Because how many kids you got?
Just one. Yeah, my son. He'll be 16 at the end of this month, July.
How has it been imparting some of your lessons on to him? Do you feel like he has a grasp on, I mean, 16 is young, but 16 doesn't mean immature.
Right.
Do you feel like he has a grasp on some of the things that you see for him, some of the things you are guiding him to or guiding him through? How have you imparted those lessons onto him?
By actions. Like I know actions speak louder than words.
100%.
Growing up, I didn't like the term "do as I say, not as I do." So some of the things that I didn't like growing up, chew the meat, throw away the bones. So like for me, I would impart it by taking on the actions myself. So give me an example. One particular time, like we were staying with my godmother. She has dogs. So to go up to the rooms that we were staying in, there was like a door that was present. So I will always tell him, like, you know, close the door behind you when you coming upstairs, because we don't want the dogs coming up here. So I will always tell him, like, yo, if you get caught lacking and you don't close this door, then you gotta give me 10 push-ups. You know what I'm saying? So, but the flip side of that was, if he caught me lacking, I had to give him 10 push-ups too. So it wasn't like just me saying that, all right, you doing this, so I'm holding you to this standard, and I'm not, you know, meeting this standard as well. When I was in school, you know, I made the dean's list about 4 different times.
Nice.
So like, good look. So I was telling him, like, man, if I'm bringing home great grades, then you should be bringing great grades home too, because you have no excuse. The only thing that you have to do, you know, as a child, outside of, you know, your social interactions with your peers, but is to make sure your grades is tough. You know, and I'm present. You know, your village is present, your mom's is present, and stuff like that to help support you. But you gotta put that work in at the end of the day. So, I feel as though he's like a regular teenager when it comes to grasping the wisdom that I'm looking to impart in him, because, you know, like we've all been there. You know, our parents don't know something what they talking about, or they may be doing too much, or you know, how your friends spun it or something like that. Your friends may, you know, but that's the developmental stage that, you know, he's in. So for me, my challenge within, I want to say, these past couple months is continuously imparting the wisdom / seeds, but backing up a little bit to allow God the room that, you know what I'm saying, to do what he do. So, you know, it's a scripture that says, like, there's some who plant the seeds, there's some who water, but then it's God that gives the increase that basically bring it all together. So with me as a dad, you know, my role may be to plant the seeds, but God has somebody else to water it, you know, and he brings it all together. Because I noticed with my son that the stuff that he gets caught up on, once he like receive his consequence, some time passes, he has a moment to reflect and he's able to see what it is that I'm saying. So I'll give you an example. Years ago, first had locks, getting my hair retwisted, I'm under the dryer. He done something in school. I wound up taking his P4 away for like a month. So he was trying to negotiate with me, like, yo, Dad, could we do it for 2 weeks? I'm like, nah, it's a month. So I stood on that. So he's sitting next to me while I'm under the dryer. I just got a retwist. And he like, Dad, you know what? I thank you that you took my PlayStation away. And I'm shocked because it's like, at this time, he's probably about in the 5th grade. So he's like 10. So I'm like, wait, what? you thanking me? Why? Because I needed a break. Wow. You know what I'm saying? Like, so with stuff like that, it helps me in these moments that even if in this particular moment it doesn't seem like he's grasping it, it's helping me with those moments. Like, yo, he not gonna like the stuff that I'm doing, you know, as far as consequence. We ain't like it. But as time continues to progress, he's going to appreciate it. So, you know, I just do it through action and I just don't let up. But I love to lead by example. I don't, not just with my words, but my actions as well. So if there's something that I'm demanding of you, I need to see it on your end as well. You know, so like even now he plays ball. So like some of the wisdom that I'm trying to give to him, you know, at times I notice that it's a little challenging for him to receive it. So just leading by example, I always just try to, you know, lead by the example. Hey, look what you see me doing. All right, I got a show coming up in the next week or something like that. You see me preparing. You see me, you know, doing rehearsals over and over. All right, you see I got a studio session coming up. You seeing that I'm making sure I got all my lines down. Yo, you see me with a book, you know, hey, this book happened, you know, when you went down with your moms for the summer. I was able to get this together. So it's more so of like using the real live examples and then backing up. You know, my challenge now that God is getting me stronger in is the backing up piece after I said and did what it is. Because I don't want to overdo it. And, you know, my job isn't to like try to purposely frustrate him. Is to impart the wisdom. If he get frustrated by it, then that's a byproduct. But I like to lead by actions the most.
That it reminds me when I first. So my son was born. I had just turned 20. I was about to be 20.
See, I had my son at 22.
And I was doing this network marketing thing, company called Amway. Back in the day, they had a division called I forget what it was, but Quick Star. That's what it was. And the guy who was like one of the first people to do it, he's like top upline, like buying planes and whatnot. He had said something that it just always stuck with me. And mind you, this is 25 years later, right?
Wow.
He said, "Your actions speak so loud that I can't hear what you're saying."
Ooh,
and I was like, dog, right? I was like, bruh, yeah, because people can say whatever. I've done it plenty of times. Yeah. And then when the moment passed, it's not something that I had the intention of like concreting in the space, and then it doesn't happen. As a parent, the beauty of doing the action first and not being a hypocrite first is the respect that I have with my kids. The respect that I have for my kids is, no, you see me getting up every day, going out and doing something. You see me having passion for something that's not my job, that I get to pour into a certain kind of way. You get to see me have a level of frustration and figuring something out,
Right.
and not just falling to the wayside because I'm frustrated.
Right.
You're
right.
seeing me go through the ebbs and flows of what I care about, what I'm passionate about. You get to see me say no to things. You get to see me say yes to things I should have said no to. And those lessons are the lessons that I try my best to impart. Now, I am guilty of overcorrecting
Right.
because I'm long-winded.
Me too.
You know what I mean? I like to be clear.
Yeah.
And if I feel like I'm engaging with somebody and it's not quite clear, it's like, hold on, let me go around this way
Yep.
and say it this way.
Yep.
I've learned though, because life be life, and there's certain ways when you're paying attention, like you said, when God speaks through a lot of different things.
Yep.
It could be the kids show, you walking past and the kids show be like, yes, and today you have to wake up with gratitude on your heart.
Yo.
You know what I'm saying? And it'd be like, you know what? I should have some gratitude
Right.
in my heart. Thank you, Puss in Boots.
Yo,
You know what I'm
seriously,
saying?
yo. That's exactly how it be.
Word is born. So I found myself in a place with my mother. I'm like 30 something, like a lot of stuff happened in my 30s, like a lot of these realizations or whatever. And I remember talking to my mom one time, sponsored by the Street Sounds of North. I was talking to my mom one time, and the advice my mom gave me, which I love my mom, but it was unsolicited advice at this point, especially at this juncture in my life. It was like, at the time, the correction was like, it was not needed because I'm already doing what you're correcting me on.
Right.
If that makes sense.
Uh-huh.
And I remember feeling frustrated as shit, like, damn, like I'm grown as hell.
Right.
Like, you're giving me advice that, and it was like, not immediately, but like immediately after the conversation, I remember just thinking about my son.
Wow.
And how I am with him.
Wow.
And I was like, I hope I'm not like this with my son.
Have you ever asked him?
I did.
You did?
And he was like, nah, he's like, nah, Pops, like, I get it. You know what I'm saying? Sometimes you just want to be clear. But I was like, if you ever feeling like you're checking out from what I'm saying, tell me.
Right.
Because I don't want to be
Charlie Brown. Yep.
You know what I'm saying?
Yep.
I don't want to be that. I'd rather say less and get more than saying more and getting less.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Right.
So I ain't gonna say I'm not gonna say nothing. You just gonna see me get busy.
Right.
And all my kids, they've been in the studio, they've been behind the camera, they've been doing things. Here's my camera, take pictures.
Right.
Here's my camera phone, make the video.
Wow.
Like, they all have experienced some level of what I'm doing. Even with my oldest son was with me when I was on the music.
Okay.
In the studio, I would break day in the studio with him.
Wow.
Like, it'd be like 7 a.m. He'd be asleep on the couch. I done did an all-nighter, getting 2-3 songs done.
Dang.
I go home, we both shower, I drop him off at daycare, and then I go to work.
Wow.
You know what I mean? My kids have always been able to experience some level of, that's an example. I can't say it's always been a good example.
Right.
But an example nonetheless. And if there is a not so good example or a bad example, or if I say something wrong or I do something out of turn, I'm not too big to apologize to my kids either.
Right.
'Cause I feel like a lot of us, I don't quite know how old you are, but I feel like we probably like a 10-year difference.
36. Yep.
So I feel like a lot of our parents and our peer group's parents weren't good on taking accountability, apologizing. Bro, you just whooped my ass for no reason. Like at all. I wasn't
No
even
apology.
doing what you thought I was doing. You know what I'm saying? So I think it's dope that you are taking the helm of like, nah, my kids is gonna see me do and not hear me say.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Because it's the shift that's needed, you know?
Facts.
And it's like being able to have that check-in with your son. You know
Yeah.
what I'm saying? Yo, if I'm doing too much or something like that, I'm
Mhm.
over talking, you checking out, yo, let me know.
Yeah.
Because they give him that safe space to let him know that even if that was the case and he didn't, feel confident or
Yeah,
felt
yeah.
like it was going to turn into an hour long,
Yeah.
lecture or something like that, then that gives the open door,
Yeah.
to like, yo, I can check in with Pops and I can keep it real with him,
Facts.
and that builds that bond and that relationship with him.
Facts.
So he can come to you with some stuff that may be heavy or may be hard to talk about.
Yeah, yeah. I
That's hard.
appreciate the space for real. What is the my apologies. What is the what has been the biggest benefit with becoming a dad? Like in terms of your journey, also becoming a husband, how have those um roles enriched who you are as a man?
Wow. Um, I I talked to father because that's the longest role that I've been in.
Mm-hmm.
Um, I want to say God tell us that we are anointed. That
Mm.
means set apart for His special purpose.
Mm-hmm.
Sanctified is about the same thing. So I feel as though me being a parent has really like set me aside. Um, I want to say like within like my peer group in a sense, or even people that's older than me.
Mm.
It kind of like pushed me into being more aware of stuff that I wouldn't have been aware of prior to.
Yeah.
So like even with me going into entrepreneur and stuff, it's like on my mind is like leaving inheritance for your children.
Mm.
So it's like I have the book, I have the clothes, I have the music, because those are things that could be sort of like residual income.
Mm-hmm.
Whereas when I'm not here, I got a book that's here, or
Yeah.
books that, will be coming out, and this can help you to pass on to your children. Or you don't have to, try to keep on starting over once
Yeah.
you get an adult. Like once you get an adult, your credit could be this, it affords you these opportunities and stuff
Mm-hmm.
like that. So me being a dad really had brought in my awareness
Yeah.
of setting up for the future, even with me um, having an opportunity to be a longshoreman years
Mm.
ago. I turned it down because I know that their schedule is, it's
Crazy in the
like
beginning.
crazy, super crazy. And it's like for me, like it was important for me to, at the time he was in daycare, and it was important for me to pick him up, to drop him off. As he got into the older grades, pick him up. We do homework. Me check the homework and stuff. Because that's the stuff that I didn't have. I was a
Yeah.
latchkey child,
Yeah.
so coming home, my coming home was checking in with my mother on the phone because she was
Yeah.
at work, single
100%.
parent and stuff. We
Yeah.
understand. So that awareness, being a husband, I want to say it has also increased my awareness. It has also increased my looking ahead to want to leave that legacy, inheritance, or yeah. Um, but I want to say it has really like sharpened my tools. Me being a dad too,
Yeah.
but like really sharpening the tools a lot. Where it's like, man, like I say in one of the songs that is gonna be on my album that's coming out later this month, The Gift for Others, the album.
Yeah.
But it's like I wasn't slacking, but I had to improve.
Mm.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, yeah.
Like is that desire to constantly want to get better because you know that this responsibility is on your shoulders.
It's a fact.
And with us being the men, being the head of the household, is a lot of responsibilities that's on our shoulders. It doesn't mean that we have this authority to boss our family around. It means that we have this opportunity to be able to lean upon God so we're able to get the direction and wisdom from Him to be able to lead our family.
Yeah.
So it's more so of awareness like, yo, it's not just about me, or it's not just about me and my son. Now it's, you know what I'm saying, me, my son, my wife, so it's like a different way that I have to move even more with being a single dad. It's like I have to sit them two down to be able to make them feel comfortable with having a relationship and stuff like that. Like this was like 3 years ago. God, had me write down like the vision for the family, and I was able to show her that like 3 years ago. Hey, this is where God is taking us.
Yeah.
So she can relax, knowing that, okay, I have a man of God that's here that's really covering me and the family, as much as he can. So awareness and I want to say just focus on legacy and becoming more compassionate and empathetic is what those two roles have done for me so far.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So your wife is not your son's mom.
No.
How have you navigated through that the blended family vibe? How have you been able to navigate through it where he knows you're covered, he knows you're covering him, your son, your wife knows you're covering her, they know that you're covering them, and we all in this together. How were you able to cultivate that?
One, through prayer first. Before I even started to go deeper with her, God led me down a road of celibacy, as well as I prayed, and fasted to get some understanding if she was the one or not. So that was one. Prayer is always foundation. So after the prayer with the wisdom and stuff, God started leading me to do little things like we put together like some bags for the vulnerable population. I'm a social worker, so I say vulnerable population.
That's a good
instead
flip.
of saying homeless population. So the vulnerable population, we put some bags together. It was winter, so it was stuff like gloves, like little travel size lotion, travel size hand sanitizer. So we put that stuff together, and the three of us, we went to like locations like Penn Station, with some other places around the city. But we did that together because it was important for us to do something like that, to be able to spend time, but to also know that, yeah, we family, but one of our missions as a family is to always glorify God. And, God charges us to be of service to him through ways of like supporting the vulnerable population and stuff like that. So it was more so of a bonding moment, but us to be grateful for what we have as well. And she was the only woman that I've dated that even met him before, so it was like prayer, doing stuff like that, having conversations separately with him, having conversations with her. When there'd be spaces, early on, we was all like together, make sure that you speak. Hey, make sure that you, try to have some conversations with him. Just so they can get to the space where they can do what they do now. Text each other without me being present. Because it's like, for me, as my wife, I know that we are one, and the order goes, is God, is the marriage, and then is the children, because the children are going to go off and they're going to have their own lives, and then you're going to be there with your husband or your wife, and y'all still need to go on with this covenant. So with me doing that, it was, constantly cultivating a relationship within them, because I don't want her to feel as a stepmother, if you say that, he doesn't want her around. Or I didn't want him to feel as though like, okay, she's around now, she's taking my dad away from me. So it was like, through those avenues, the prayer, the sharing of the gifts with the vulnerable population, having conversations with them, it helped me to kind of like navigate through that whole coming together, I would say.
That's what's up.
And then she's so mature, whereas it will always be like, say for instance, my son have a game that his mom, didn't attend to for whatever reason, or make sure that you know, when you take the video or something like that, that you send it to her. You know, so it'd be stuff like, you know, constantly reminders of like, hey, don't forget to include, you know, moms as well.
Yeah.
You know, I don't know, all of that prayer at the root, it made all of that stuff like come together. Like even my son mother, oh yeah, I can't wait to meet her. I would love to meet her.
Yeah.
You know, so it wasn't all of that extra stuff that, you know, came into place too. And it wasn't even like that though. Like, it's all God's favor. But like even like at the beginning stages, you know, like when she was pregnant and, you know, she would go with her mom to get like the wick and stuff like that. And I guess the social worker, I guess they would call them that. You know, mom would stick up for him like, oh no, he don't need no child support. No, he does what he need to do. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like, so it's being in those spaces where my character, you know, speaks up for me, you know,
100%.
whereas like, no. And even now, I don't know. I've never experienced child support before. Even though her and I haven't been together in years.
Yeah.
I haven't experienced. You know,
Yeah.
I don't know what that is.
Yeah.
Like, you know, experience wise, I didn't have to go through that because of, you know, the favor and the character and stuff. So, yeah.
Mine's is similar. In that I've never experienced child support. Now, it's not to say that I wasn't court ordered to come in for a hearing for child support.
But they didn't go that far.
Favor one.
Right.
Like, here I am stressing because I got the notice. And then from the time I got the notice until the time of the court date, I thought I was going to lose my kid.
Wow.
Because I haven't known any man that was brought to court for child support and came out victorious.
Wow.
Never.
Wow.
Not only was I not put on child support, but I was awarded residential custody of my son. And the judge was like, look, you're doing this, and this. At any point, if you ever need assistance, you can come straight to my office and we can file the paperwork, no questions asked.
Wow.
For me to get child support.
How did that feel, like, you knowing what us brothers usually go through and you being on the other side of something different?
Bruh. Real talk, I felt like Will Smith in Pursuit of Happiness when he got that job.
Oh,
when
he
was
cried.
outside.
He
like,
cried, yo.
I was like, yo. Like, bruh, just because we had saw a mediator first. And the mediator was like, so how many nights a week does your son stay with dad? And I was like, 4 nights. And then she was like, She's like, who is he in daycare? Who pays for daycare? And I was like, I pay for daycare. And she was like, She said, who picks him up? Who takes him to daycare? Who picks him up? I said, it's usually me, because my at the time my schedule was more flexible.
Right.
I was like, it's usually me. And then she was just like, so I'm confused. Like, why are we here for sole custody when you're doing all of the custodial things? He's staying with you more than half the week. Who's buying him clothes? I said, most of the time, at that time, it was me buying the clothes.
Right.
Because at that time, it was me buying the clothes for me, my son, and my son's mother at the time. And she was just like, kind of like puzzled, like, why are y'all even here? And when it made it to the judge was like, black lady, AKA.
Wow.
She was just like, in this day and age where we have all of these fathers who aren't stepping up to the plate, you have one that's not only involved, but is willing to stay involved. And we want to interrupt that. She was like, yeah, I can't. She said, I can't sign off on this.
Wow.
So I can't sign off on this. She said, you know what? She said, he's with the dad most of the time. Just kids need to be with their fathers, especially sons.
Wow.
And when she said that, I was just like, favor.
Wow.
Because at the time, I was like praying, like, please, Lord. I'll be a good steward.
Mm.
Like I'm already being a good steward. You know what I'm saying? So it wasn't too out of the wheelhouse for me to kind of just assume the role in a legal capacity.
Right.
And watching my brothers go through child support stuff, watching my uncles, watching my homeboys, it was like I felt like that victory was our victory.
Wow.
You know what I
Wow.
mean? Like we won because
Wow.
something favorable happened in my situation.
Mm-hmm.
I wasn't on the other side like a lot of guys are.
What you feel as though was like the determining factor outside of favor that granted you that success?
Like you, my character.
Mm.
I feel like my character just spoke because I wasn't wild. I wasn't in the streets. I never was a street guy. I never had the allure to be outside.
Right.
Like I see what happens when you're off the porch like that.
Mm-hmm.
Like you off the porch like that, people get shot,
Yeah.
people get killed,
Mm-hmm.
people get caught up in a lot of situations that you would not have otherwise been caught up in if you weren't in this particular environment,
Right.
hanging around these particular individuals,
Mm-hmm.
doing a lot of this particular BS.
Right.
And I didn't want that. And once I became a dad, I definitely didn't want my son to see me being a womanizer or a deadbeat or not have any kind of aspiration for anything that was good and transformational and
Wow.
transgenerational either. Like, nah, I'm hustling for my last name.
Right.
And
Right.
the boys that wear my last name, I want them to be proud of it. I don't want them to be like with my dad. My dad, I'm only named what I'm named because my dad wasn't proud of my granddad.
Wow.
My dad is a junior. My dad, Eugene Marion Reed Jr., shout to you, Pops, named me Baith Marad Al-Fatih Nuruddin. And I was like, I'm like, it didn't dawn on me maybe until I was like about to graduate high school, what my dad did.
Right.
Like my dad just was like, nah, you're not getting no surname from some person that's not, I'm starting fresh with you.
Right. Right.
So for me, I'm proud of the fact that
Wow.
I have the last name I have because my dad gave it to me.
Right,
Like
right.
literally was like, Baith, the raiser of the mentally dead. Yeah, I like that. Marad, the pride of every eye. I like that.
Wow.
You know, Al-Fatih, the creator.
Mm-hmm.
I like that. Nuruddin, the light of the way.
Mm.
And that's the power my pops put into my name.
Right. Right.
And I just want my kids to be proud. I want them to be proud of their dad. I want them to be proud of their name. I want them to be proud to exist in the space that their name, the energy that their name was created in, to exist in that. So I'm proud of my character speaking for me in that moment that allows me to continue to speak to my kids, to speak life into my kids the way that I'm able to do. You know what I mean? My oldest son is 25. My youngest son is 10.
Wow.
I have a daughter, but my daughter she's not my biological daughter, but I've been around since she was 2. So
Yeah.
there's no step in the crib. She don't call me stepdad. She call me dad.
Right.
My sons don't call my wife stepmom. They call her mom.
Right.
I mean, obviously my youngest son, but my oldest son that's my second mom.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So I think having good character, having the character that speaks for itself, did a lot of the work for me.
Yeah.
They saw like, oh, he's working, he's gainfully employed, he doesn't have a record, he's not out here on no drug charge that he just beat or on probation or none of that. It was just like, nah, he seems like a good guy who seems like a good dad. Let's give him a shot.
And your dad kind of like instilled a lot of that stuff within you.
Yeah.
Wow.
Oddly enough, being off and on drugs, in and out of jail, when my dad would be home, he would still impart wisdom. It would still be like a level of intellectual prowess in there.
Right.
Like, nah, son, this is this.
Mm-hmm.
Even if he was doing a dope knot or whatever, this is this.
Right.
And like you said, to have the compassion to see him as a person and not just my parent, it was like I received that wisdom, because had I not, I don't think I would be how I am today. I don't think I would have the level of compassion or empathy that I do have today if it wasn't for the fact that my familiar circle was what it was, and I got a chance to see the dynamic on both ends.
Right.
Super spiritual and super gangster.
Mm-hmm.
Like my mother was selling drugs.
Dang.
You know what I'm saying? Going to the Bronx, picking up weight and coming back.
Wow.
I didn't witness it with my own eyes in terms of the activity,
Right.
but I remember the people that were around at the time.
Mm-hmm.
I remember my mom kind of being like a classy hustler.
Wow.
You know what I'm saying?
Wow.
Like, this that blue magic.
On some Frank Lucas type. Like classic, like as far as like the way she carried herself.
Yeah. Like my mom knew martial arts. My mom and my pops practiced together. You know what I'm saying? So, or they sparred together. So there was a lot of wisdom in their not so right doing, and wisdom in them doing the right thing also. Like there was wisdom to be taken away from all of that.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like, it wasn't like, man, my mom was smoking crack next to me and my father had hookers in the crib, and it wasn't none of that. Like, they didn't bring any of that around when I was born.
Right.
Maybe my oldest brother might have a different story. I never asked him. But I know for me, and even with my oldest brother, it's not my dad's biological kid. Same with my grandfather. My grandfather, that I acknowledge as my grandfather, is not my biological grandfather.
Right.
So there's a lot of this compassion space that's like, oh, my brothers, you're not their real father, but you're taking care of them like they're your real sons.
Right.
You know what I mean? So I think a lot of it had to do with character, and a lot of it came from, little nuggets of wisdom that my pops would drop. I remember the first time I called my daughter, who at the time me and my wife were dating.
Right.
And I was like, well, eventually she's going to become my stepdaughter. My father was like, man, you better step the fuck off with that.
Wow.
He's like, step what? And which half is not the right half?
Wow.
Like, if that's your half, what half is not the right half? Tell me. And I'll be like, you got a point.
Was your grandfather in his life?
My biological grandfather up until he was 7.
Wow.
And then my non-biological grandfather was there from 7 till now.
Wow.
Like, even though my dad's been gone, 7 years now? My grandfather is every bit of my grandfather.
Wow.
I just went through there to cut his hair. I got some roast beef for him, like from this deli in Edison. Like,
Dang,
that's my dude.
Deli too?
Yeah, that's my dude. His guys actually planted all of the grass in Lincoln Park. Talk about,
wow.
You know what I mean? Like, one of them. Remember one time, because we driving past, he's like, where your iPod studio at?
Your iPod studio.
He said, where your iPod studio? I'm like, the podcast? He's like, yeah. I said, it's in Lincoln Park. He said, Lincoln Park. So we riding past, and he like, just so you know, when I worked for Mayor Gibson, because it was him, Mary, all of them. First term, second term, when my grandmother passed, I got books of photo albums of when they were in Michigan or something. Mayor Gibson had like a committee. He was the president of the mayor's council of the country.
Dang.
Yeah, he was the president of the mayor's council. First black mayor of Newark was the first black president of the mayor's council of the United States. It was crazy. So seeing it when he rolled past, he like, this you? I'm like, yeah. He like, yeah. We planted all this grass. Me and my guys. We put all this grass. It used to be a dump back in the day.
Mm.
And I'm like, it's crazy that I'm in the studio
Right.
and I get to see the park that my grandfather built.
Wow. That's
essentially
big though.
It's nuts, man.
That's big though. But that's the power of fathers.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Facts.
Like, he had to have planted enough stuff in your pops that even though your pops had his moments, he still was able to give you them nuggets too.
100%.
And you were able to get those nuggets down to your kids now.
100%.
Like,
yeah.
that's power in the community.
Yeah.
'Cause we not just, teachers to our children.
Yeah.
It's teachers to whoever come across our path.
That's 100%.
Dang.
Well, shoot, man. We've
That's
been rocking for dang. I love it when this is like this. I keep it real because
You don't need to be paying attention to
at
the
all,
time.
like at all. So I'll bring it to a close. I would say, is there any imparting words, wisdom, nugget, quote, story, experience that you want to leave with the Grown Man Shift audience as we bring this to a close?
I say stay consistent, and consistency for me doesn't look like you're not making any mistakes. Like I tell my son, I'm not looking for perfection. I'm looking for progression. As long as you're able to, like how we do when we ride our bikes.
Yeah.
You get knocked off, you dust yourself off, or you cry, put some bandages on or something like that, may take the break for the day. But then the next day you it's something in you that's like, nah, I gotta get back on this bike.
Yeah.
So the consistency is you getting back up after you've been knocked down.
Yeah.
Get back up, because anybody that's great that we see, they had obstacles in front of them.
Yeah.
All they had to do was just keep going and knock it down. Remind me of that picture that we used to see a lot with the guy. He's in the cave or something like that, and he's constantly going, knocking his path down because he on his way to these diamonds. And you got two different pictures. You got one on the top or the bottom. He just needed like one more, and he would have reached his goal of them diamonds. And then you had, the other picture, the guy like halfway, and he constantly knocking it down.
Yeah.
For me, it's like, just staying consistent. Like, just looking back in my life, the things that I ain't think that I could overcome, to see where I am now.
Yeah.
Like, and me being like 15 years ago or something like that, or when my son was first born, or 20 years ago, it's like, yo, I'm right here. Yo, I got a book that I wrote that has my name on it. Like, I'm talking in front of people. I'm performing in front of people. Like, yo, I got eye contact with people while I'm performing in the whole nine. Like, I'm talking about my sexual assault that took place at 5 years old. Like, as a black man, you know what I'm saying? And like, and saying like, nah, that ain't make me go this way or that way. Nah, I'm still going with God and everything. So I would just stay consistent.
Yeah.
Consistency is the last track off of my new album, The Gift for Others. And that's like, cause I'm an exhorter. My strongest spiritual gift is exhortation. So I love encouraging people. It doesn't mean that I'm always going to tell you what you want to hear.
Yeah.
But it's something that'll help you to go on.
Yeah.
So I would say stay consistent. Life's going to have its challenges, but as long as you stay consistent, you're going to get to your destination.
Yeah.
Because that's just how it go.
Facts.
That's how it go.
Well, man, I appreciate your energy. I appreciate your time. I appreciate you pulling up and being vulnerable in a safe space. I know it's a buzzword a lot. I created this platform not to be like gimmicky or got-you-y, but just honest, open dialogue between two brothers. Whether we have a lifetime of friendship together or if it's a new friendship, I feel like there's still gems, jewels, and wisdom throughout the exchange. And that's all I want this platform to be. So thank you.
Man,
For
thank
real,
you, brother.
Can you do me a favor? Plug your book, plug the album, plug whatever it is, social platforms, what you got coming out next, where can people find you, all that good stuff.
Yes, sir. I'm thankful to be a part of the show. Thank you for inviting me, because this is one of the reasons why I do it. and to be able to help support the shifting of our communities is something that's important. That's why I have my book titled The Gift for Others. Like I stated, is available on Amazon.com. You type it in, The Gift for Others. It'll pop right on up. You see this beautiful cover. This mine. Shout out to Artaluya that did the cover art for me. Or if you're in the Jersey area, you can find me on Instagram, The Composer Rell, TheComposer Rell, Rell. You can hit me up on Instagram if you're in the Jersey area. I can pull up on you with a signed copy just for you. So I already gave you my Instagram. You already know that I got a book that's out. I have a album that will be dropping later this month. Preferably July 18th. That's the tentative date for now. But yes, I have an album coming out titled the same as the book, The Gift for Others, because I have gifts and I'm here to share with other people. So you can also find me on YouTube where my visuals are. It's the same, The Composer Rell. You can find me on Spotify. You can find me on Apple Music, Tidal, Pandora, YouTube Music, whatever you streaming on. I'm under The Composer Rell. So I have music that's already out. I have videos that's already out on my YouTube. So yeah, I'm an all-around great dude that's going to keep growing in God. And I'm going to keep on sharing these gifts, helping supporting the communities, not just by talking, but being hands-on, because this is what we here for.
Facts,
Can I end it
facts.
with a little verse?
Absolutely.
I'm looking in most houses, seeing women with no spouses, dudes digging in they blouses. How is this shame still going on today? We're being dragged away, excuses being made. We can't even see our children with all this technology. Excuses for the weak. She struggled just to make it through the week. Makeup to cover up the bags of defeat. Just because you wanted to go swimming in some cheeks. Be discreet with the lies you tell. Man, it won't last long. There's gonna be a lot of females that really has it going on. But you never leave your wife or your firstborn chasing skirt tail. Now in the household torn, I see what's really going on. Cut the head, then the body will follow. That's really Satan model, popping bottles every day. Yeah, doubles on the weekend. Yeah, I gotta go. Black people, this is not how it's supposed to go.
Bars from the homie Composer Rell. I appreciate you, my brother, for real. You're
Thank
doing
you,
a lot
brother.
of good things out here in the community, and knowing that I'm sharing space with somebody that really cares. Like, you're not putting on because you want to be seen doing something just for being seen doing it, but you really have a mission, and it's evident.
Thank
You know
you.
what I'm saying? So I just want to give you your flowers while you're here. I appreciate you, for real.
Thank
for
you, brother.
everything that you're doing out here in this world.
Appreciate
For
you
real.
too, man. It's reciprocal.
Thank you.
Seriously.
Thank you.
Salute you, brother.
Hey, man, salute you too, my brother. So we are wrapping it up. It's another episode of the Grown Man Shift podcast. I'm Baith. That's the homie Rell. Please tune in, like, share, subscribe, all that good stuff. I don't take it lightly, and I say it at the top of every show. I really do appreciate everybody for pulling up. You could be doing anything in the world, but you decide to press play on this video, and I appreciate that. Shout out to the sponsor, Ironside Coffee, 110 Edison Place. Please make sure y'all tune in every Wednesday, maybe even Thursday, to the evening brew that's happening in the space, live jazz music, totally a super vibe. You will not be disappointed. Great coffee, great food, and a great atmosphere. So with that said, Grown Man Shift, thank you for tuning in, and we out. Peace.